Alright, I'm gonna try and not think about this too much and just film and do my thing. That's the whole entire point of this channel, is to just be extremely raw. It's just kind of like a talk show, kind of like a podcast. Not nearly as why does my brain do that? Why do I just randomly forget words at important times? It's not as stressful as the Jake McCollum channel and vlogging and whatnot, you know, but welcome back to jeikunonikki. I have a whole list of notes of things that I want to talk about today. This is my journal. I've taken like the past week and kind of consolidated it down to a list of notes of things that I wanted to discuss, things that are happening in my life. Maybe y'all could take something away from it. And, I'm just trying to be more consistent as far as social media goes, and providing content, and trying to make something work on YouTube and all these other things. And so I don't really know what jeikunonikki is in this second. But I know that I made a promise to myself that I'd post on this channel once a week, and so here I am. And so I am currently in the middle of doing laundry, sipping some coffee out of my holiday Pikachu Christmas cup. I've got the whole setup right here. Here's a picture of what it looks like, and I am just sitting here ready to give y'all kind of an update on what's going on. So obviously, number one, I'm not in my car. I am at a house. I'm at a house. But allow me not to get off track, because I do that. I'm very good at getting off track, and I need to be going off my notes. I left Austin to come back home. My home here is in Sherman and Denison, Texas, okay? Well, I say home. I consider Austin more home than anything now, I feel like. But this is where I grew up and where I was born. Why? Honestly, to check on some friends that may or may not be doing the best that they could be. Another reason is, after having just quit a really crappy job, I saw it as an opportunity for me to get out of my norm, get out of my normal environment. I mean, back in Austin, when I was living in my car, I had a really chill spot, a cool, just chill spot that I'd go while living out of my car under a bridge. But it was getting kind of daunting. It was getting kind of like, not boring, I guess you could say, but I'm just sick of sitting in my car all day, and I kind of needed a break from that. And it was just kind of like the perfect time for me to just come back home for a little bit and spend some time with some friends and family, and among a lot of other things, which I'll cover in this video. But that's why I'm here at my friend Tanner's. He's at work right now, solving a whole bunch of puzzles that are car related. What do you call that? A mechanic? Yeah, so he's doing that. And I'll get into work and money for myself here in a little bit as well. But yeah, on the point of checking on friends and everything, today's Bible verse this morning that I read every single morning, a new one every morning, was actually in correlation with that. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, and basically care more about others than yourself, which is extremely hard, I feel like, nowadays, because we've all got our own problems that we're trying to deal with and solve, and it's hard. So at least for me, to be concerned about other people's lives, I guess, when we feel so overwhelmed with our own stuff. And it's important to remember the people around us, whether that's at work, whether that's the cashier at the grocery store, whatever that may be. It can make a heck of a lot of a difference. If someone just asks you how you are or how you're doing, it can turn someone's day completely around. And then, just being there for your friends when you're struggling, There were many times for me when I was growing up, addicted to drugs and all of these things, that people, some of my closest friends to this day were there for me, Obviously, they weren't the ones that were going to get me to stop doing what I was doing. But I had to make that decision myself, ultimately. But just the fact that they were there for me meant a lot. And so anyways, whatever that looks like in your life, maybe you're the one who needs help. Maybe you've got a friend that's struggling that you need to spend some more time with. It's just something to consider that I thought I'd mention. But yeah, now I'm here. I needed a change in pace, and environment for a little bit. Also, I kind of just was hoping that by doing something new for like a week or two, I actually have no idea how long I'm going to be here, but if you get out of your comfort zone and get out of the norm of what you're doing, then oftentimes I feel like God may provide some new opportunities for you, might open your eyes to different things, different subjects, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I'm here as well, is just hoping that God provides me with some opportunity. And I can honestly say that that's already kind of happening since I just left Austin to come here for a little while. And so I'll get more on that here in a little bit. It's been nice being able to stay in a house, 5 years deep into living in my car. Every once in a while I get to come here and spend some time with Tanner and be able to stay at his place, which, he always is open to me staying, which is a blessing to me, and I'm extremely grateful for that. And so, I took my mattress that's in my car that I sleep on, it's like 5 inches, and I just threw it in one of his back rooms where he has a gym. And I've been sleeping in that back room on the floor, basically, on a 5-inch mattress, which has been nice. I've been able to buy groceries, actual cold groceries, which is cool, because now I can cook. It's a lot harder to do while living in your car. So that's been nice. I get to shower when I want, take a dump when I want. Like this morning, I am jacked up on coffee. Had to go and do that this morning, and it was just flawless. You feel me, dog? And so that's nice. And something really cool that, recently Tanner got into gaming. He's into cars and stuff like that. Like he's a mastermind. And on top of that, he's a mechanic. And so he likes cars, racing, drifting, stuff like that. And he got this rig. Those things you see at arcades where you can drive cars? He actually has one of those in his, I guess, his gaming room now, which used to be another bedroom. But it's super cool. And so I've been helping him out with like other games, like what I play, like Valorant. Subscribe to McCloud, by the way, is my gaming channel. And then I go live on McCloud on Twitch if y'all ever want to tune into that and watch me live. I'm going to do that more often on Twitch. Matter of fact, I did, not yesterday, but the day before that, I went live and was just talking to a couple of the subscribers and just chatting, and doing some dailies and whatnot. It's super fun to go live and chat with y'all, but anyways, that's been fun. I've been helping Tanner out with some of the more software stuff and apps and teaching him OBS and stuff. And so that's been really cool. It's kind of like a dream of mine to be able to, not have to set up my stuff in my car that takes 30 minutes just to be able to go live. Now I can just go to the room and push go live because my stuff's already set up. And so anyways, that's super cool. So on that note, between McCloud, between jeikunonikki, between Jake McCollum, I feel like I almost have too much going on now. Like, I wrote this whole entire script for this episode of jeikunonikki, and I was looking through it, and I was like, I wonder if I could actually just turn this into a vlog for Jake McCollum. Or I could just go live on my gaming channel and talk about all of this. But I don't know. I think the best thing for me to do to just talk clearly and raw and like I'm doing right now is for this channel, because that's what basically this is. And so I don't know. I'm just like still trying to figure all of this out. It's kind of like my biggest project that I've got going on right now is how to balance between 3 different channels, finding the time to do so, building enough projects to even be able to do that, you know what I mean? I guess my idea was just that I wanted to keep Jake McCollum a vlog channel and keep more the talk show, podcasty type of videos on this separate channel here, and then for fun and gaming, just use McCloud. So, and I think from an algorithmic perspective, that would work out. So yeah, moving on from that, as far as, you know, editing and channels and all of that, Tanner has actually got a friend that might need some editing help. And so by just being here, basically that door I feel like was kind of opened. So I may have a job opportunity to be able to help edit some of someone else's work. And so we're going to see how that goes. I think maybe he's just going to provide me with some footage to see what I can do with it. And then maybe in like a month or so, he might be able to pay me to actually do it. But no promises on that. It's kind of up in the air right this second. We've just been talking about it. And then I also I think I might have another meeting soon with another guy that's in kind of the social media realm. And I'm gonna see what maybe I could do for him. And so yeah, as far as like finances and work goes, that's kind of what I've got going for me right this second. And then on top of that, you know, a lot of my friends here in town actually have dogs. And, you know, I've got experience with Rover and trusted house sitters and all of that. I've made videos about that on the main channel. So I've got a couple of different avenues that I'm working on to be able to maybe sustain myself. Audio? Are we good? Okay, yeah, 98%. All my batteries are dead in the camera. But yeah, so taking care of dogs, potentially being able to do some editing work for some other people. And then on top of that, trying to have all of my other channels work. Hopefully, if I can form all of this business stuff, I can maybe actually start to make some income from things that I actually enjoy doing and not having to stock a grocery store with a boss that I don't get along with, okay? More on that in the HEB video. But so yeah, I guess on the note of growth and trying to get my crap together, first and foremost is always going to be in my life, hopefully, is God. And so continuing to pray in the morning, trying to keep God in mind throughout the day. And then also I have a reminder on my phone here to pray again around midday, just to keep my mind in a happier state, a godlier state, a more meditative state, I guess. And so I'm not stressing out all the time or riddled with anxiety throughout the day. And as a result of doing that, the past year or two, I've found exponential growth in my life. Like, a lot of my mental health problems have dissipated as a result of doing that. I've actually been, you know, I'm still up and down, but it's like, it's a lot more level now. It's more like this as opposed to before building a better relationship with a higher power in God. It was more like super, super low, super, super high, and now it's managed to kind of subside a bit. And so shout out God. That's been helpful. You know, there's a church in Austin that I go to. It's kind of it's more hipsterish, younger people. That's been nice. If anyone's interested, it's called Red Rocks in Austin. And then if I don't go to church, I watch church on my phone, and I watch Life.Church, Life Church, and I like the preacher there. I don't know. It's just, I just like listening to the sermons, getting closer to God, and learning new things that I can apply to my life that's going to make it better. You know, I'm sure there's probably a lot of people that watch me that might not be religious or might not believe in God. My first thing I would say is to just, what's the point in not giving it a shot? And number two, I truly do believe that God is real and that Jesus did what he did. for us, gave his life for us. And I just feel like there's an astronomical amount of proof in that. And then, you know, even me trying to be more open about this stuff is, I feel like, showing growth in me, because I feel like in the past I would have been scared to talk about things like this because of judgment and because I would have felt like people would stop watching me based on what my beliefs are, you know. Another thing is staying in shape. And so it's cool that Tanner's got a gym that I sleep in. And it's not, I mean, y'all, you probably saw the picture. If not, here it is. It's not like a full gym, but there's enough in it to where you can get just about anything done that you need to. And then plus, I've been still running. One thing I do need to be better about, though, is stretching. My hips pop all of the time. I could move my freaking leg up like this, yep, and it pop, okay? Running can be stressful on the body, and that's why it's important to not only just do cardio and run, Jake. You need to be doing more weights and actually stretching so that you can continue to run, or else you're just gonna keep popping your hips all of the time and not be able to touch your toes. I've never been able to touch my toes my whole entire life. Okay, at this point I feel like I'm all over the place, but so I don't know. Let's get back on track to my actual future and how I'm progressing now. Japan, you know. The name of this channel is jeikunonikki, after studying Japanese culture and learning Japanese every single day for like 2.5 months now. That is ultimately my biggest goal right now, is to somehow get there. And so with that said, I've still been studying every single day. It takes me forever to study. You know, I'm terrible with time management, I think is what it is. I know that's what it is. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm studying longer. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes I feel like I'm doing too much and I don't have enough free time. But then even thinking that, it's like, well, why would you want more free time if you're doing all of these things you love? Shouldn't it just not matter how much time you're spending on it? But sorry, I'm all over the place. I've had too much coffee, but yeah, it takes me freaking like 2 hours to do all my dailies, which is like, I do the New York Times puzzles. I do my Rubik's Cube in the morning. You know, prayer, and then learning Japanese. You know, I went over everything that I do on the first episode as far as studying Japanese. And by the time I get done with that, with all of that, it's like 2.5 hours. And I'm just like, man, if you're, you know, especially when I was working at HEB, I'd get off work and then I'd do all that. And before you know it, it's 8 p.m. and you're having to get ready for bed. Oops, you forgot to eat dinner. Go do that. Oops, you got to go and shower. Oops, you got to go find a spot to go and sleep in your car. Oops, it's 11 p.m. Oops, you got to wake up at 4:50 in the morning to go to work. Sorry. Time management. Something I'm working on. But at the same time, I'm happy. Like, I don't really like a whole bunch of downtime, you know what I mean? I like having things to look forward to and that I have to do on a regular basis. It makes me feel like not lazy. It makes me feel productive. As far as the language, how I'm doing as far as my studying Nihongo goes, Japanese, I can count really far. So, you know, rei or zero, ichi, ni, san. I'm filming, so I'm having a blank. Yon, go, roku, nana, Q. No, that's 9. 9 is Q. 8 is hachi. 10 is ju. And then it goes juichi, juni, jusan. And then once you get to 20, 20 is niju, nijuichi, Niju ni, and then I can pretty much count to hyaku, which I believe hyaku is 100, and then you keep going up from there. Basically, I can count now in Japanese, but the thing about that is freaking Japanese, the language has different ways to count things, and so that's a whole nother way of saying the numbers. It's like itsuka is like 1 day, like futaka. It's all different, extremely confusing. In Japanese culture, it's just normal to them, obviously. But to someone that's learning Japanese from America, and they have different words for different counters, it's a lot to process. But I'm slowly learning that. Let's see what else. I know the whole entire kana now. I know hiragana and katakana, so I can read things. But I don't always know the words or the vocabulary. 90% of the time I don't. But on that note, I've learned about 150 either like statements or vocabulary words. And so I'm getting to a point where, like, if I were to watch something in Japanese with subtitles or something, I would be able to start to hear things that are familiar. I'm kind of at that point now. And then as far as, let's see, like maybe structure, yeah. Yeah, as far as like structure, like putting together sentences and the grammar, that's pretty complicated, but I'm starting to kind of get it, like watashi wa, watashi no, and particles. Particles are freaking miserable for me right now, learning all of the different particles, because I just feel like there's a million. It's kind of like connecting words and sentences, you know, I guess. Two of the things that I need to be doing better, though, as far as learning Japanese goes, is actually opening my textbook for learning. You know, I'm studying out of the Genki Grammar book, textbook 1, level N5. And, you know, I'm just like, I'm rarely opening the book, and I need to be opening it more and studying more. It's just by the time I get done doing Duolingo and Kana review and going through my vocabulary words and my Anki decks, I'm already like an hour and a half in, and it makes me not want to open up the Genki book. And then on top of that, possibly even more importantly than that, is immersion and watching more Japanese related videos. You know, how do we learn as we are babies our native language? It's not by reading a book when we're 1 or 2 years old. It's by listening. It's by being surrounded by other people that are speaking English or whatever language you learned growing up. It's just by like hearing and trying to sound out things like mama, dada, and you start to figure things out and connect words with images like, oh, what is this? Lens, camera, lens. And that's what I feel like I need to be focusing on more, is pretending like I'm a baby. And so like finding Blue's Clues shows, but the Japanese equivalent to that. You feel me? And so trying to balance all that has been kind of tough, but at the same time I'm having a lot of fun with the method that I've got going on right now. I just can't help but feel like I'm going about this wrong, and maybe I need to make some adjustments. But that's where I'm at with the whole language thing. But on the topic of immersion, yesterday or the day before that, me and another friend, Taryn, we actually drove up to Mitsuwa, which is a Japanese grocery store in the Dallas area. And we went there, and I got some like onigiri supplies. So I got some rice, I got some salmon, I got some seaweed, and then just some, what is it, sukoshi snacks in Japanese, just like, you know, Japanese gummies, Japanese chocolate, Japanese this, that, kore, sore. And so that was super fun. But while we were there, obviously a lot of the workers speak Japanese. And so I got to test out my Japanese, and it was, I thought it was terrible. But I think just the fact that I even tried, and that basically the conversation went like this. They had, like at Sam's Club and Costco, they give out samples. There's one nice lady that was doing that, and I heard her talking in Japanese to another coworker, and I was like, okay, here we go. I'm gonna try this. And I went up to her, and I'm pretty sure I was just like, Nihongo desu ka? Which is not the proper way of asking if someone speaks Japanese. But she understood what I was saying, and it would break down into English for a second, and then Japanese if I didn't understand what she was saying. And then at one point she was like, muzukashi, I believe, and I was like, that means complicated, right? Or was it mendokusai? It means pain in the butt. Muzukashi means, it's complicated. Kind of like a nicer way of saying no. I feel like in Japan, a lot of people, if they're asked if they want to go drink at night or something, they might just say, muzukashi, yeah. It's complicated. Like I might have other things to do. Anyway, she was indicating that, is it tough for me to learn Japanese? And basically, I was just like, oh, hi. Very, very taihen. Very extremely. Japanese is not like English at all. But yeah, sorry. That whole entire experience was really cool. And I want to have more of those. Way more often. If I could, all of the time. That's what I'm trying to... I just feel like it'd be way easier for me to learn the language if I was actually in Japan and had no choice but to speak it, And so yeah, on that note, I guess my thinking right this second as far as getting to Japan is first kind of getting balanced work-wise, because that's important. Either being able to save up for it and or be able to work remotely doing editing stuff or something, So I'm working on that, obviously, like we talked about. And maybe it's a combination of both. It probably will be both. So I need to save somehow and then be able to work remotely to get myself out there. And then, yeah, I got the first 2 years could be covered if I just get a student visa and go to the language learning school out there. That's about as far as I've gotten so far. But at the same time, I've been thinking maybe it would just be a good idea for me to go out there for just a week or two, just to experience it first. You know what I mean? And then, if I end up liking it, then we can go from there. The only other way, like I was mentioning in the last video, would be, I feel like for me, specifically, would just be to start a business out there and get a business manager's visa. But I feel like maybe I'm getting a little too ahead of myself right this second. But I think this is a good place to start. I've considered doing crowdfunding for it or a GoFundMe. But I don't know how people would react to that, or how many people would actually support all these dreams of mine. And plus, I'm a hardhead, and I hate asking for help. And so there's that. But I don't know, maybe I'll bite my own pride and try and do something. I'm not sure. I would just like for my plan to develop a little bit more before I ask people for support, if that makes sense, So, yeah, just trying to get all this sorted out at the moment and kind of just allowing God to do His will for me. And, I pray that I'm doing God's will, not my own. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing the complete opposite of what God would have me right now. And if that's the case, then so be it. I'd rather be more aligned with God's plan than mine, because ultimately God's plan is going to be a lot more better for me than my own. There's that verse, I believe, in Proverbs. A man's heart plans his way, but God ultimately directs his footsteps. And so I just feel like I need to be living life in that regard with that in mind. I've got the Jake McCollum vlog channel. I've got this channel, at the talky podcasty channel. And then I've got for gaming and just super fun stuff and live streams, I've got McCloud. So if you want to subscribe to any of those or see more content from me, that's where you can do it. Please like and subscribe if you took anything away from this. And I think that about covers it. I'm going to pour another cup of coffee that I don't need and finish the rest of the work stuff that I got to get done today. But happy I was able to film this and just talk about what's been going on and share it with the world. And I hope you have a good day. And Jesus loves you.